Nice to see everybody. Nice to see everybody. Thank you very, very much. You're way too kind. You're way too kind. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thanks so much. Sit down. Welcome tonight. We've got a great, great show for you. I really appreciate everybody stopping by. I appreciate everybody being here. And, you know, it's another weird day, another punchline here in the United States of America, folks. That's just how it is living in America now. I mean, for example, you got Nancy Pelosi calling for a medical evaluation of the president of the United States. Isn't that a little bit like the Joker calling for a mental examination of the Batman? I mean, come on, right? Come on. Wait till they get a load of me, right? I mean, wow. Just nuts, nuts, nuts. But folks, think about this. Would Joe Biden not be the perfect Alfred, right? What? The thing? Joe Biden is Alfred, ladies and gentlemen. And Kamala Harris, she could be, well, there's no whore in Batman. What's she going to be? I don't know. What's she going to be? But, dude, Mike Pence as the boy wonder. That is beautiful, perfect casting right there. And last but not least, folks, before we get into the show, Coast to Coast AM is reporting that venomous caterpillars have invaded Virginia. Have we really got to the place in America where we are too physically unfit to run from a caterpillar and too stupid not to pet one? I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen. Really? Really? I don't know about that. Ay, 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 folks. Ay, ay, ay. Woo! Nelly. Well, it is late night in the heartland. I appreciate you. Sit down, enjoy yourself. It's late night in the heartland. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your host, coming to you straight out of the heartland. And we're here tonight till 1 a.m. We're here the night until 1 a.m. tomorrow. And that caterpillar, Jama, is black, I think. And we're here to give you some great information. I'll open the phone lines in just 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. We'll open the phone lines in just 1 second. But what we always do first is when the host remembers to pull it up, we always take a look at some good news for a change, because we're living in a world where all we get is bad news, bad news, bad news. So it's very nice now and again to get some good news. So we're going to take a look at some good news, and the best place to find good news all in one spot is jeffreydaugherty.com. And if you go over there, you'll see the tabs, and you'll see one that says, look at that, good news. Just click on that tab for good news, ladies and gentlemen. And it goes down by the days, right? So October 9th, that's today. Or, well, yeah, just for a little bit longer, it's today, at least here in the heartland. So you take a look at that. And then, folks, we look at these. White supremacist suspect in Michigan kidnapping plot is actually a Trump-hating anarchist. So even the narrative that they give us that, makes us want to be afraid, makes us want to be scared, makes us want to be worried. This guy is not a white supremacist. This guy said that Trump was a tyrant. This guy is not a white supremacist. This guy is just another silly Antifa activist. And there's nothing to worry about here, folks. Nothing to see here. The Federalist is reporting that this idiot with the anarchist flag in the back, that's not what a white supremacist would have. White supremacist suspect is actually a Trump-hating anarchist, and 13 men arrested and charged in an alleged kidnapping plot. Says that President Trump is not your friend, dude. This is Brandon Caserta. He is your enemy. So this guy is anti-Trump, and the mayor, I guess the governor of Michigan, wants to say that Trump was out to get her. It was a hit on her. Folks, this is an FF. We can't say the word, but this is an FF. I don't think there is any real plot. It is what we would call a beloved FF. That's good news. Folks, I know that some of you are in a situation that's challenging. I know that just because my life has never been better, it doesn't mean everybody feels that way. 56% of Americans say that they're better off now under President Trump than 4 years ago under Obama Biden, even with, ladies and gentlemen, even with the Dosum West. And that is a real statement when you think about it. I mean, we didn't have this plandemic. We didn't have this control of virus. We didn't have this stupid 19 4 years ago. And yet we have most people saying, that's 56% of the people saying, believing that they're better off now under President Trump than they were under Obama Biden. That's 56% of the people. And this is a Gallup poll. Polls are polls, but Gallup is probably one of the most reliable of them. But a solid majority says they're better off. Only 32% said they're worse off. So as you look around and you want to complain and you want to feel bad, remember, tough times never last, but tough people do. And sometimes if your time is bad, if your life is bad, it might be something that you're doing and you are in control of changing your life. Never forget that. Also on good news for a change, there is growing support, and I am happy about this. There is growing support for the confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett. They call her ACB. I think that's a little too informal for a person that's likely going to be our next Supreme Court justice, but that's just me. I tend to be a little more formal than a lot of people want to be. So support is growing for the confirmation of Mrs. Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. 46% of voters back President Trump's nominee. That's up 9 points just from late last month. That means things are moving in a very positive direction. More voters say the chamber should consider her elevation to the high court as soon as possible, regardless of who wins next month's election. And of course, we're rooting hard for our great president, and we do hope that he makes it. And last but not least, and we talked about this in our monologue, Trump says that Pelosi's 25th Amendment, and this is new. I didn't know that President Trump was out with this. I've heard this floated, and I don't really understand it. We'll talk about why I don't really understand it just a little bit. But we know that Nancy, crazy Nancy, you know, the Joker calling Batman crazy, has tried to say that the mental capacity of President Trump, his ability and fitness to lead, should be looked at. And President Trump, says that this 25th Amendment bill is really about replacing Joe Biden with Kamala Harris, replacing Joe Biden as the nominee with Kamala Harris. And look, folks, there it is, the killer caterpillar. Folks, it's a caterpillar. Just step on it. Just step on it. Crazy Nancy's looking at the 25th Amendment in order to replace Joe Biden with Kamala. President Trump told his 87 million Twitter followers the Dems want that to happen fast because Sleepy Joe is out of it. I don't get it, because if I understand my party politics correctly, the Democratic Party could just simply say he's not our nominee anymore. So I don't know why they need the 25th Amendment. And I didn't know the 25th Amendment and then President Trump also, or was it Dan Bongino? Somebody opined that the signal from Pelosi by invoking the 25th Amendment is an admission that they know President Trump is going to win, and they're setting the table for the next term. So I think that one makes the most sense. I think they are setting the table for the next term. Lady Justice bought my Age of Aquarius book last night. So much to discuss. We have so much to discuss. Paladins in on the Elvis Show. Your channel, my channel, let me know. Send me an email, Lady Justice. I would love to have it. That's a great, great subject. And you shouldn't have bought it. I would have sent it to you, but let me know when you want to get together, and let's do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Late Night in the Heartland. I am the most transparent guy on YouTube, and I'm the most available guy on YouTube. I put myself out on the line for 2 hours every night, Monday through Friday, and it will just be Monday through Friday. We won't be doing a Saturday and Sunday show, and I apologize. I did not get time to put together the phone system for tonight. It'll be ready to roll on Monday. I've got it. I just have to install it, and I just did not have time to do it. But ladies and gentlemen, guess what? It's that time that you all love. It's that time that you're probably all here for. And we're going to open the phone lines. The phone line. One of our own here with a great sick prepper drum solo. I'm grooving. I'm liking it. So let's go to the phone lines. Ladies and gentlemen, the phone lines are open. Give us a call. Give us a call. And you can talk about anything that your little pea-picking heart wants to talk about. There's only 2 rules. 1, be polite. 2, be interesting. And it will be the old phone system tonight. But don't worry. Come Monday, we'll have that new phone system ready to rock and roll. I don't know if you saw my earlier program about this is the event. This is the awakening. This is ascension. And we've identified for you very easily and very plainly that we have just today hit the event. The event just happened. It happened just a few hours ago. The Great Awakening is here, and there wasn't 10 days of darkness. So, ladies and gentlemen, go watch that program. It's called, I believe, The Great Awakening, and you will want to see it. You'll want to hear it. And the phone line, 813-534-0083. It is wide open. And as, of course, we get 2 in a row. But let's hit this first phone call. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're our first phone call. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, aloha, Jeffrey.
Aloha. I see you out there in Hawaii in the 808 area code.
Totally. Okay, so I had a quick question. So L. Ron Hubbard is friends with Aleister Crowley, right?
Wrong.
Young Pharaoh?
Wrong.
Okay, I want to hear your answer.
You bet. And we're not here to argue. We're here to talk. And I'm, fully willing to let you have your say. And I know you got a lot of mahalo going on out there, so this will be just fine, right?
Oh, shoot, brother. Totally.
So L. Ron Hubbard and Aleister Crowley never met. They never met. L. Ron Hubbard was familiar and friends with Jack Parsons, who was kind of the de facto representative of Aleister Crowley in the United States, kind of like Giorgio Tsoukalos is kind of the de facto representative of Eric von Däniken in the United States. So Crowley and Hubbard never met. They were not friends, and that's the answer to that question. I know you got more.
Hubbard was friends with JPL, like Jack Parsons Laboratory, and what is that, like the Nazis program over there where they were experimenting with rocket fuel, right?
Well, Jack Parsons was the man that started the JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And you could argue that Jack Parsons was kind of the father of NASA. And Jack Parsons, it was kind of, remember the days, this was kind of the hippie days. This was, or the beginning of it. It was kind of a bohemian lifestyle. Jack Parsons had a great big mansion there in the Hollywood, LA area. And he was a kind of an eccentric guy. And his house was the house where a lot of the, the beatniks, I guess, the people that were out of the way thinkers. They would come and stay there. And Ron Hubbard, LRH, lived there for a number of months. And they did conduct a number of investigations. They conducted a number of occult ceremonies. And you got to understand, Hubbard was a guy that searched everything, researched everything, partook in everything. I kind of understand because I myself have been initiated into a high magic secret society. I quickly got out of it because I figured it wasn't for me. But I was searching, looking for workable spiritual technologies. L. Ron Hubbard was very much the same way. That's how he came to be involved with Jack Parsons. He took it. He took what he thought might be meat from that, and then left the bones. And he was with Parsons for less than a year, but he definitely was a at least a roommate and a working partner with Jack Parsons, who started JPL, and they did a bunch of crazy occult stuff. And Parsons finally blew himself up doing some nutty occultic experiment.
Yeah, the reason why I ask is because it's a conundrum for me right now, because the white Dianetics you were talking about earlier just resonates with me so much. But then I'm also kind of weary of if he's involved with questionable occultic things. But I am still researching myself. And yeah, so thanks for the answer. It does sound like white Dianetics could also be like a type of yogic karma philosophy, like a type of karmic clearing, like maybe. Anyway, yeah, it's really interesting. It really resonates with me. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. And another thing, you got to understand that L. Ron Hubbard literally traveled across the globe, he traveled across the world. His dad facilitated him doing that. He did that in the Navy. He did that before and after the Navy. And he went to India and studied with karmic masters. He went over there and studied with yoga masters. He studied in Africa with shaman. He tried it all. And what people don't understand, and it takes a lot of study, I've thousands of hours vested in this, is what Dianetics really isn't that original. Neither Scientology. It's the result of an investigation of almost every spiritual technology and practice in the world, and picking and choosing the best from each and compiling it into a workable system.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Well, it is what it is, right?
Well, because young Pharaoh is like drawing that connection between Crowley and LRH, and I was like, oh man, I wonder.
I have to listen to that. I've got it I've got it bookmarked. I haven't listened to that. I will do it tomorrow, and I'll contact Pharaoh and I'll ask if he wants to have a discussion about it. And if he doesn't have the time, he's a busy guy. I'll do a reaction video to his video, and I'll stop that video, and talk about it. So it'd be like being with young Pharaoh, only not as good, but we'll do our best.
Sweet. All right. Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm going to go now because it's nerve-wracking being on.
All right. Mahalo for the call. Aloha.
Okay.
I have had the privilege of living in Hawaii for almost a year, a little over a year, actually. And it's a beautiful place. It's filled with beautiful people. And it's nice to have our first call come in from the islands. It really is paradise, ladies and gentlemen. It is late night in the heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeff. It's John Krez, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. I watch your show all the time. You probably see my comments.
I do, and I appreciate them.
Yeah. Real quick, before I ask my question, more of ask you something here. Wanted to thank you so much for all the just everything you've done, waking everyone up besides myself. The C60's been awesome. It's changed my life, my animal's life. You're probably doing this later, but the Field Life Force. I don't know why I did not get on that sooner, man. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate it, and those are great products. I use them myself. I mean, if you broke into my house, you would see that it was on a Fluffy. That Fluffy is here. It's on my cell phone, and you'd see that we have C60. And you know what? I forgot to take my C60 before I came on. So ask your question. I'm going to go grab some C60 right after this.
Okay, cool. I will. So, I just wanted to know what you thought about this, because it's, you know, there's so many Christians out there still, their hearts still now awoke. And I try to use this, and you know, I feel you, and I love what you do to help wake them. And what I'll do is they'll start talking to me about some stuff, right? And I start hitting them up on things. And again, I agree with what you say, right? But just get them thinking. I just want to know what your opinion on this is. Is it good or bad? What do you think? I'll sit there and say, like, hey, yeah, you know, they'll say something. I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, did you know that Jesus said we could do greater works than him? And they're like, what? And they don't really know what's there. And I had them read that. And I said, yeah, and, you know, Jesus said we're gods. And I kind of laid that out on them a little bit. And, you know, it gets them thinking, right? And I walk away. And sometimes it helps. Sometimes they don't talk to me ever again and give me dirty looks. What are your thoughts on that?
John, I think that's borderline masterful. I think it's a great idea because, you know, if you can get them to begin to think outside that dominant paradigm, if you can get them to you just need a little crack for them to say, oh, well, maybe the Bible needs to be looked at a little more critically. Maybe I need to think a little more on this. You've just got to really, it's almost like a person that's, you know, I remember the movie Airplane. There's a girl that's all hysterical, you know, and they smack her. And sometimes you have to rhetorically smack someone. And the way you've done it is a very nice namaste nudge way. And I think it's a great idea. And, you know, all you can do is share information and hope that it prompts these people to start thinking for themselves. And just to correct you, I haven't ever woke anybody up. I hope I'm providing information that you and other people use to help come into awakening. But I really appreciate your kind words.
Yeah, I think it's just the information gets people thinking, and that's the key, right? We have to get that consciousness up and stop this nonsense. You know, everyone's in this lower consciousness, and that's why a lot of those people are fighting and arguing about stuff that we don't need to argue about. 100%
agreement with you.
Well, thanks again, Jeff, so much for everything. I'm going to keep watching your shows. I try to catch them live when I can. And one more comment, too. I'll never forget, I was in my backyard, and you were doing a Trump thing. And I didn't mean to be writing capital letters, but I was. And I think a couple of you, Tracy and I, or a few others were like, stop shouting, stop shouting. And I was like, nah, I'm not shouting, the cat flag was on. And then when you saw my comments about Trump, you can shout all day long about that. So I want to thank you for the chats that you do and the interaction you have with us, too. That's important.
John, I appreciate it so much. Thanks for calling in, and don't let it be the last time.
Okay, sounds good. I will let you go. Take care, Jeff.
Bye-bye now.
Good night.
And right back to the phone line. It's late night in the heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, what's up, Jeff? Hey, this is Plum Master, man.
Plum Master, another great subscriber. Nice to see you. What do you got for me tonight, my brother?
Well, one, I just got a question. I was wondering if you get a minute, you could check my status, because it looks like I've been banned off of the chat.
I'll write it down. I was supposed to check somebody last night, and I forgot to do it, so I'm going to write it down.
That's cool.
Here. Plum Master. Were you naughty? Were you naughty?
I don't know. I made one smart-ass comment, but I didn't think it was very bad. But
okay, well, we'll get that taken care of.
I'm definitely with you guys, and I definitely love watching and learning, man. It's definitely crazy ass world out here.
Somebody I forgot about last night, but it's on my note cards here, and I'll definitely take a look. But Plum Master, yeah, absolutely. What else you got for me tonight?
Yeah, I'm just about with everything that's going on right now, man. I mean, man, I'm trying like hell. I think I commented a while back to you about Trump. I had some concerns, man. I'm trying to be on the guy's side, but damn it, man, sometimes he makes it tough, brother. I'm just trying to stay optimistic out here, but it just sounds like there was more restrictions and vaccine talks, and damn it, man. You know how we talked about getting ready to dance. I don't want to dance either, but damn it.
Well,
I'm about ready to have to.
Plum Master, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the things that specifically make you feel nervous about President Trump. Let's talk about him. If you can think of any of the particulars that make you feel weird.
You know, just how he's always pushing these vaccines, and he's got the military he's already saying, he said out his own words, we got the military, we're going to get these vaccines out. And I know he hasn't said the words, we're going to force them into you, but it's like, damn, what are we doing all this hyping up and military talk for?
Well, here's the first of all, he has specifically addressed the vaccine and said only the people that want it will have to take it. He's specifically said we won't have to take it. And think about why it would be. And again, on that note, he's been in the hospital. He's out. He walks up. He takes off his mask. He says, don't let COVID dominate your life. Get out there. Don't be afraid. That's as close as he can come to say COVID is fake. Don't wear a mask. But the military part, Plum Master, the military part, and this is important. President Trump, if they do roll out a vaccine, and I'm almost ready, not quite ready, but I'm almost ready to predict that while there will be a vaccine, President Trump will be saying in his next term, we got this vaccine, but I didn't take the vaccine. I took these therapeutics. I took these specific drugs, and we'll give these to you free if you want to take them. This is what got me healed and got me immune. But if you want the vaccine, it's also there. I don't think President Trump is even going to be talking about a vaccine in the second term. He's going to be talking about the therapeutics that he took to get well. But the reason why President Trump wants the distribution of whether it be the therapeutics or whether it be the vaccines, think about it, Plum Master. The military white hats, and Paladin and Lady Justice, who's in the chat room, are experts on this. The white hats are the ones that made it possible for President Trump. Military white hats are the ones that made it possible for President Trump even to be president, because they assured a free and fair election. And if you have therapeutics or you have a vaccine that you're going to be rolling out to all Americans, and it's basically, for better or worse, going to be called the Trump vaccine or the Trump therapeutics, you want to make damn sure that nobody tampers with it. You want to make damn sure that nothing is switched. You want to make damn sure that what you make is what the people take. And the best way to do that is to have your great patriotic generals, your great patriotic lieutenants and captains and majors, your great patriotic non-commissioned officers taking that vaccine straight from president's hands, metaphorically, and putting it to the people. So the military is there to make sure that there's no malfeasance, there's no nefarious actions. And let's face it, our military can deliver, a lethal force to China in 15 minutes. So they know what they're doing, and I think that's why they're doing it. That's at least my take.
Okay. Yeah, well, like I said, man, I'm trying to stay positive with everything here.
Plum Master, you know what Yoda said, right? You know what Yoda said?
What's that?
Yoda said, there is no try. You either do or do not.
All right.
So just be positive. I'm sorry. What else you got for me?
That's it, man. I love the show, dude. I watch all the time, even though I haven't been able to comment lately, but I love it, man. I just thank you, dude, for all your hard work and, just from the Bible stuff and everything, man. It's just really been great the last year and a half or so. I've been really good watching you. So,
hey, I really appreciate that. And the saying that says, and I do work hard. I'm probably the second hardest working guy on YouTube after Rex Bear. But when you find what you're supposed to do, you never work a day again in your life. This is what I love to do, and it's really not work, and I appreciate it.
That's how I feel about plumbing. So.
Beautiful. If I ever need my pipes worked on, I'm calling you.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great night.
All right. You too, bud. Thanks.
Bye-bye. And, thinking people will see things like that, and they'll say, what about? I was hoping that Lady Justice would jump in on that comment, and she did. If you're concerned about this vaccine position, research what was done in September 2019 in regards to the EO, the executive order. It is late night in the heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. Please turn your sound down in the background.
Am I okay now?
You are perfect now. What's on your mind? What do you got for me?
Down here in Texas, I've been studying conspiracy for quite a few years. Something occurred to me, and it's during the summer. It has to do with the whole deal with what caused and set off all this. A number of years back, I ran into something online. I don't remember if it was maybe a Savali thing or if it's Springmare or something. and it was called the Day of Anarchy, and it had to do with mind control programming, and what how they could set things off, ideally with maybe a TV commercial, a news commentator, whatever. And it occurred to me that everything happened after the George Floyd deal, and I wondered if possibly the vision of a police officer with his knee on a black man's neck, and the phrase being mentioned, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe," was a trigger. Okay, this kind of ties in with your saying earlier this evening.
You are so right on. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. Then I got thinking about the "I can't breathe" deal and how it relates to this thing of trying to get everybody to wear a diaper on their face. And so I'm just thinking about the England thing and how that might tie in. I don't know. I just thought that you might have some thoughts on it. I thought it was particularly interesting after listening to your show earlier.
I think that you have just hit on a great, great truth. And in the work that I've done with people, you would be surprised how often the phrase "I can't breathe" is an engram in people. So this is such a common, you know what, it might be one of the most "I'm worthless, I'm no good, I can't breathe, I got to get out of here." Those are probably those are definitely in the top 10 of engrams that I hear a lot. So, wow, so they've taken an engram that's already very, very prevalent within the minds of people within the United States, and they've even deepened that engram by having, it wasn't just George Floyd. You got people saying it all over the place. You got T-shirts, and they are re-stimulating that, and it's shutting people's minds down. Their analytic mind shuts down when they hear that, and that's why, we've been asking, why are people so stupid? Well, not everybody's not that smart anymore, but their mind capacity is being reduced by these engrams, which shut off their mind and make them available to control. And I think you have hit on a great point. And the Floyd "I can't breathe," I think that was a re-stimulator / an activator. And think how many people it's put to sleep. NBA, NHL, all of these sports leagues. And you hit on something there. That's a brilliant, brilliant call. Thank you for pointing that out to us. Do you have anything else for me?
No, not right now. I like the fact that you now have a set time. I can't watch a lot of times during the day live. And this evening deal, where I got something dependable, I'll as time goes, I'll probably have some more thoughts to throw at you. But that's it for tonight.
Well, I really hope so. Thanks for calling. And folks, that is a brilliant call. I know that I am le champion of late night now, with apologies to my friend Chris Jericho, but I can't think of everything. I can't do it all. I need a little help from my friends. And when people call in like this with these brilliant takes, it just makes my job so much easier. And it just goes to show that we're much, much better together than we are separately. And back to what Lady Justice was saying, she said that people concerned about the vaccine and his position, speaking of President Trump, need to research the work done in September 2019 on vaccinations, executive order by the president, and the advisory committee report. And Lady Justice is 100% correct, which is true pretty much all the time. Back to the phone lines. It's late night in the heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Well, hello.
Well, hello yourself. What you got for me? Bring it, bring it, bring it.
Okay, I got two things.
All righty.
One is when you're asking about Pelosi and why she's bringing up the 25th Amendment, why wouldn't she just ask Biden to replace them? Because I think they know that Kamala Harris can't get elected, for sure. Too many people hate her. So the idea is to get Biden elected and then use the 25th Amendment, move him out of the way.
Ooh, that's brilliant, too. You're from Canada, aren't you?
I am. I'm just outside Toronto.
Well, I heard the boot, and I knew you had to be from Canada or living in Canada. That's brilliant. I never thought of that. They They're not trying to replace Joe now. That's what the president was saying. They're trying to replace him after the election.
Right.
Gotcha. You know what? And Cynthia keeps saying this to me, that Nancy wants to be president. And maybe this is part of her plot to be president, because Kamala,
That's the end goal. Yeah,
dude,
that's the end goal.
even Willie Brown hates Kamala now. And he spent how many years banging her, right?
Right, and I think that's why they're hoping for the election to be completely buckled up, because if it goes a certain period of time, that's when, I mean, I'm Canadian, but so I'm not positive of your laws, but I'm pretty sure that if it goes a certain amount of time, that's when she will step in as president.
I think that's probably the constitutional law is a little bit murky on that, but she is third in line. If something were to happen to President Trump, of course, Vice President Trump would take the office. And if something would happen to both the president and the vice president, then it is the Speaker of the House, which is now Nancy Pelosi. So there may be, I mean, Nancy isn't the brightest tool or the bulb or on the string, and not the sharpest tool in the shed, but Nancy has a lot of people working for her. So they've probably studied and scoured the constitutional law, and they at least see a path towards that end. You know, that's a brilliant call. Someone from Canada that knows enough about the United States and cares enough about the United States to give a call in, and I really appreciate that. Cynthia had
like so behind this. I was in New York City for the election.
Oh wow.
And there's a whole story to that, but I won't link that now. What I did want to go into is I want to tell you one more thing.
Okay. And Cynthia had a question. Cynthia wanted me to ask her Canadian caller something, and I forget what it was, but I'm sorry. Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, in regard to your engrams. Okay.
Yep.
I am DID, which is dissociative identity disorder, otherwise known as multiple personality disorder.
Really?
Okay, now you know that in the movies they make us all as the murderers, and they try to say it's really, really rare, and all this kind of stuff, right? Which is not. 4% of the population has it. They say in the jails about 75% of the men have it.
Wow.
The reason why I wanted to bring this up is because it totally resonates with the engrams, but it goes a step farther, because you have to be a young child in order to develop this. And a lot of the people, I'm 65, so a lot of the people that I've dealt with over the years from way back were children of like CIA higher ups.
Wow.
And they would talk about how they were taken to these ritual type things where they were made to eat babies and that sort of thing. And I used to always say to them, well, you know, a child, I used to do magic for my kids when they were little, and they would think I was amazing. And as they got older, they'd say, oh, Mom, do some magic. And I couldn't, because it wouldn't work, right? Because you can fool little kids, you can't fool teenagers.
Right.
So I think it was the same thing. When they have these children, when they're little, they can just make them think they're doing whatever they want to make them think they're doing.
That's brilliant.
And then they can get programmed. So you can program us. For example, I do dog rescue. So when a dog gets really ill, I will actually completely switch into somebody else. So when these school shootings start happening, and that big shooting that just happened in Nova Scotia, for example, I said those are triggered multiple. I think that they made through MK Ultra and all that they actually made a bunch of people that are throughout your country and Canada, and that they can trigger us.
Absolutely.
I go away, and it'll be a month later that I come back.
Do you remember what happened when you come back?
No, and we can lie. We can even have lie detector tests.
That's a classic Ingram manifestation. You are really helping me understand the deeper realities of this.
I'm called high functioning, right?
You're very high functioning. It's obvious just listening to you.
But yeah, I was really like severely tortured from very, very young age by several members of my family in all different ways.
Horribly.
I didn't know until I was 42 and my father died, and that's when I was that way all the time, but I didn't know it. My friends kind of knew it, like that was different at different times and stuff, but I never knew what it was until I was 42.
Wow.
So now the other thing is that it's really, really hard to get any kind of therapy for this, because the government is working so hard to debunk it.
Right.
People are making it up. It's so rare, right? And when you do get one, they're like a murderer and serial killers and all this kind of stuff. So the whole thing has been so downplayed. The thing is what you're talking about with the Ingram. I went to Dianetics earlier on, and if I was afraid for the very reasons that you said, they told us to get away from it, right? So,
Yes.
anyway, I just wanted to bring that up and to mention to you, and I'm going to call back on a different night and talk to you about something else. But
Please do.
I just wanted to say, yeah, I think a lot of these shooters are actually multiple. That's what I think they are.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for that call. And she's right.
Thank you. I love you.
Thank you. Love you too. Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, that is just absolutely brilliant. And Lady Justice mentioning that Kobe Bryant also used the phrase, I can't breathe. Folks, it's an engram. It's reactivate. It's re-stimulating us. And we need to realize it, clear ourselves, and get over it. Boy, never a dull moment. It's Friday night, late night in the heartland. It is late night in the heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, what's going on, Jeff?
Hey. Social Observer, great to hear from you. It's just another day in paradise, brother.
I hear you, man.
What you got for me?
Do you know about the 1947 connection?
I have no idea about the 1947 connection. Enlighten me.
Well, you know, the first caller brought up Aleister Crowley,
Mm-hmm.
and he actually died in 1947.
I didn't know that.
And supposedly, if you know about the Babylon working
Mhm.
ritual that him and Jack Parsons did,
And L. Ron was in on that too.
I think Ron was in on it.
Yeah, Ron was in on that.
The Berkeley thing.
Yeah, Ron was basically the he was basically the scribe. Parsons and his dudes were doing the Babylon working, and Ron was the one that was recording it as the scribe.
Yeah, they actually succeeded in opening up a portal.
Allegedly,
And
they
that's-
did. Yeah.
And that's when you had the Roswell incident that same year. But
Yep. About 6 months
Not
later.
that
Also,
year.
the birth of Hillary Clinton.
In 1947.
Just after when was Hillary Clinton born? Just after Hubbard and Parsons opened that portal out there in the desert at Devil's Gate Dam, I think it's called. And
That was like in 46, I think.
Hillary Clinton birthday. Hillary Clinton
Yeah, that was
birthday.
cool.
Yeah, she was born in October of 47, and they did that ritual about a year before that in the late 46.
Right. But I think that was the ritual that killed Crowley. And that's when all like hell broke
Really?
loose, so to speak, you know?
Huh.
But
You
he
think
also
that
got-
killed Crowley?
I think so.
Are you the only one that believes that, or are there other people that think about that are also thinking that?
Well, actually, me and my other conspiracy buddy, we spitball on the 1947 conspiracy theory. Like
That
when,
is
like,
amazing. You know what? We need to, I don't know if you ever come on shows or anything, but I would love to get on and talk about that kind of stuff. It's just amazing. It really is. And it makes so much sense. And it has the ring of truth to me. I can't obviously say, oh yeah, you're right, because I haven't studied it, but boy, it has the ring of truth to me. It was the late 40s when they did that ritual. The late 40, it was late 46.
There's a lot of connections. I think that's when JPL.
Well, Parsons started JPL. Parsons himself was the founder of JPL.
Right, which was basically the inception of NASA.
Right.
I'm thinking that when NASA started too.
You know, I just thought of this, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, but it also could very well have been Jack Parsons Laboratory because it's JPL, right?
Yeah, Jack Parsons. Oh, yeah. JPL, Jack Parsons, Jack Propulsions, yeah.
Yeah, but he definitely was the founder of the JPL, and really, at least, yeah, I would definitely consider Jack Parsons the founder of NASA.
Yeah, for sure. But an interesting story. Hubbard stole Parsons' girlfriend.
Well, I mean, steal is kind of a hard word. They're all living in the same house. They were there several months. You're interacting, and maybe it wasn't working out with Jack, and she ended up with Ron. Steal, yeah, I could see where people would say that, but maybe not steal. And I mean, hey, the girl must have been hot. If Ron wins, that's great. But yeah, it's not a great thing to do to your buddy, I admit.
Yeah, exactly. She must have been like a 10 or something.
She had to be a dime piece, didn't she?
Exactly.
A smoke. What does Sam Kennedy call it? A smoke something. But anyway, it's like she's smoking hot.
Yeah, but he took her out on a boat, right? I think they're on the Gulf of Mexico or something, trying to get away from Parsons because he was engaging in black magic, just like Crowley.
Yeah, that he was part of it. Yep.
And they could manipulate weather, and supposedly he cast a powerful spell to make his sails just totally obliterate, and he had to come back to shore with the girlfriend that he tried to run off with.
Crazy stuff. That's a story I have not heard.
Yeah, I just heard that today. I was watching Sam Tripoli's show.
Yeah.
On, Tinfoil Hat. And I was just blown away. I'm like, man, that's crazy. These guys they're just creating their own little universe, their own little magic spells.
They could do it. And John Dees was known for being able to do that. He sank the Spanish Armada, I think, with a magical spell. So, I mean, the stuff works. It's just the problem is, people get all hooked up into magic. If you ever use anybody else's magic spells, magic incantations, if you ever use anybody else's names, if you use anybody else's sigils, you got to pay a usage task. And cousin, it's a high price. Don't do it. Use your own intention. Do the freaking work yourself, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Is that why the politicians are just clones and they're not actually spellcasters?
I don't know. I'm not totally sold on the clone idea, but they're certainly at least puppets if they're not clones.
So who's casting the spells? Think about that.
It's like, who was it? Was it Rockefeller or somebody said that millionaires don't study astrology, billionaires study astrology, and trillionaires probably have magicians working for them.
Or the Vril Society.
Or the Vril. I'm not sure the Vril Society was all bad, but I get your point. Exactly.
It's an interesting world out there, isn't it?
You know what? Every day I realize that probably more and more, and some people get intimidated by it. I get excited by it because there's more to discover. There's more to see. There's more to do. There's more to learn. But Jeff, don't you worry. We're walking through the valley of the shadow of death. Even the script says, fear no evil, but they want you to fear no evil because you got their pipsqueak God with you. I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I fear no evil because I know I'm the biggest, baddest mother brother in the valley.
Hell yeah. No fear ever, man.
No
That's
fear.
The worst energy you can ever put on yourself or anyone else.
Absolutely.
That's their black magic. They use that to control us.
Absolutely. And what does the script say? The fear is the beginning of how's it go? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Who would follow a book that says the fear, and it's not reverence, look it up. The word means fear. The fear of this God is the beginning of wisdom. That ain't wisdom. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of control.
Mind control matrix.
Mind control, blood magic matrix. You got anything else for me, my brother?
No, that's it, man. I might call in later, but
hey, we'll be here till 1 a.m.
All right, let's do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm good.
Adios. Ladies and gentlemen, the line is open, 813-534-0083. Don't forget that Super Pal chat. If you want to help a brother out, you can just use that URL, paypal.me/Jeffrey Daugherty. And your comment and your question will be mentioned on Monday when we have the multiple phone lines installed and ready to go. That'll push your phone call right to the top, too, if you tell me what your phone call is in that message. Phew, a little bit of a break. I'm glad we're going to take a break at the top of the hour. I'm going to go refill my coffee cup. And before then, we got another call. Me. It's late night in the Heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeff, it's John again.
Hey, John.
I just wanted to say that comment that gentleman triggered about the masks. Well, I'm not triggering the masks, but about the Floyd thing and kind of waking people up and just it kind of caused the whole event. Were you aware that they did that in 4 different countries where they kneeled on someone's neck and they had the hand in the pocket? They did that in 4. I got a picture of it. They did it in 4 countries.
Yes, Cynthia made me aware of that. and it wasn't quite simultaneous, but it was within the, it was pretty close together. So it was obviously, we think about it being a United States FF. We don't want to say those words, but it really was a worldwide FF. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, is that the deep state is not just the Democrats. The deep state is the Democrats. The deep state is also very well entrenched within the so-called Republicans, the rhinos, Republicans in name only, but it's also an international deep state. It's not just the U.S.
Exactly. So I wanted to also bring up the masks and what it's doing. I want to appreciate, you've never been in. I wore a mask 4 times since this whole thing started. 4 times. And I had to because I was in a medical building and they're arguing with me, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'm in a medical building.
I have worn it one time when I went to the doctor because I was in the medical office. I respected that.
You have to, they won't let you in, right? So, but my mom's 82. She doesn't wear it anywhere.
Good for her.
She walks around with a HIPAA card. She's in the grocery store. She has other people ask her, and they go, well, how do you not wear a mask? And they go, I just don't wear it. And she gets people to take them off.
Good for her.
She's educated. Now, I will tell you this, though. So check this out. What do you think of this? So you got these people going to restaurants, right? They're like, they have to wear their mask in line. They have to wear it. They sit down, and all of a sudden, they can take that mask off to eat a meal. Now, what do we do to a dog to train it? We feed them when they're good. They obey. And you put the mask back on when you leave, right? So they're subconsciously, what these people realize or not, because I have friends that say, oh, I just want to go out to eat. I want to go to a restaurant. And I'm just going to do it to not cause problems, because I'll get kicked out or the restaurant will get shut down. But they're subconsciously training these people to obey. Would you agree with that? And what are your thoughts on that?
Not only do I agree with that, but I would even strengthen it to say it's a Pavlovian response, because when Pavlov trained the dog, he used a treat. He used food. So if you're a good dog, you're exactly right. You're a good dog, put on your muzzle, go to the table, sit boy, sit girl. And since you walked to the table like a good dog and you sat like a good dog, now you can take off your mask, except when you're in California, the idiot governor wants you to take it off or keep it on in between bites. What a moron.
You gotta be kidding me.
Nope.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, we're not gonna go for that. Now I'm a little frustrated here where I'm at in Arizona, because our governor kind of went like, oh, well, he was scared that like people are going to vote for him. I'm appreciating what they're doing in Florida. I have a friend out there, talk to her all the time. And I wish that the rest of the country would follow suit. But I'm just concerned about it because I still feel like people are getting that in their mindset. Like, we'll do what we're told. And one more comment I want to make is just how awesome the gym that I train at. It's also undisclosed. I can't talk about where it's at. But we had people coming from all over, because they shut gyms down in Arizona on the second lockdown. And it was obvious that they did it because there was complaints, but here's the deal. We had almost 300 people in there at the same time. It was insane. We were laughing because we were running into each other, but we were anti-social distancing. We were giving each other hugs. Nobody got sick a couple people, I think, got it for like a week or 5 days. They didn't come, they came back. Everyone in there's taking their vitamins, the ones you need to take. And honestly, it's like it proved. And I asked everybody, I was really concerned because, people do have elderly parents and grandparents. No one's family members were getting sick either. So I go, can't we prove that this incident didn't happen? But obviously we can't, because they'll shut us down. But one thing that happened was, as the police would come there to shut us down because they were called, some of them actually signed up because they wanted the gym to work out. How cool is that?
That is a great story. I appreciate it so much. And that's what we need to do. We need to begin to stand up for our constitutional rights. And they can write all the tickets they want. We'll make them show up in court. They won't half the time or more. It'll get thrown out. But we've got to say we're not wearing the mask anymore. We're not closing our businesses anymore. And we're not going to stay in our houses anymore. What you gonna do when the world of enlightened people breaks out all over you? That's what I want to know. It's time to find out.
I hear you, Jeff. Thanks again. I just had to make that comment because I was, you have some great people calling in. He triggered that in my mind, like in a good triggering way, right? I go, I have to say this. So thanks again. I'll be talking to you again. Let some other people call in.
Absolutely. I appreciate it very, very much. And we're going to go ahead and shut the phone line down for a minute. And we're going to take our top of the hour break right now. I'll be right back on the other side of this break with our second hour. And I'm sure it's going to be an hour that is filled with unbelievable, intelligent, crazy, crazy power, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. You're listening to Late Night in the Heartland. And please hang on with us. We'll be right back after this break, ladies and gentlemen. And I messed something up. Sorry about that. It wasn't a smooth transition. Next time I'll do better. And we'll be right back after this short break, ladies and gentlemen, from my friend and yours, Ken the Scientist.
Focus Life Force Energy.
Oh, it's Fluffy.
Is a subscription service that activates a high consciousness field. Now, this high consciousness field supports our mission of the optimal conditions for human evolution. So FLFE, or Focus Life Force Energy, works much like prayer. So holding a person in mind, we believe, activates a field around that person. And then whatever you're feeling for that person, whether it's healing energy, love, is now by quantum association in that field. So FLFE works in much the same way, where we have an identifier for a location, whether it's a legal address, coordinates, or an object such as a cell phone. We activate the field, and then we're specifying the conditions within the field.
So we use consciousness kinesiology to write the programs that we have in the higher consciousness field. So these programs are positive declarative statements which enhance the field and provide you the opportunity to be your best self, as Jeff said. It supports the mission of us having the optimal conditions for the evolution of consciousness. We also have programs such as EMF mitigation. We also have a brain optimization program. That's brain optimization for the modern world, which assists us with managing the electromagnetic smog that we live in. Helps rebuild the brain during the evening and focus on enhancing our brain functions during the day. And there's many other programs that we won't mention at this time. They're on our website. We're constantly adding more value to the service by adding more programs and refining the ones that we have.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's very true. They are constantly upgrading the service, but I've yet to see them upgrade the price. So it's a great company. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the FLFE, Focus Life Force Energy, or Fluffy logo, and you can get a 30-day trial, 15 on your phone, 15 on your home. I recommend you just get it. It's one of the best decisions that I've ever made. It is Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeffrey, it's Get Dagger. How you doing tonight?
Get Dagger, great to hear from you. I appreciate you. Whoops, I just spilled water on myself. But don't worry, it's only sparkling water with lemon. Thanks for being a great subscriber, and welcome to the show. What do you have for me?
No problem. I just wanted to call in. I want to celebrate my birthday with you. It's an honor to speak to you. So, yeah, I just wanted to give you a shout to just relax. I just turned 41 there on October 10th, so I forgot to give you a shout. I usually don't call in. I used to listen to Coast to Coast as a kid, and I never called in, but I don't know, just for some reason I had to, I just wanted to call in to talk to you. So,
hey, first of all, happy birthday to you. We appreciate it. I hope that this year will be the best year that you've ever had, and I'm very, very honored that you chose to call in, especially on your birthday. And once again, just happy birthday to you. Do you have a question or comment that you'd also like to leave with us?
Yeah, like I obviously watched the show today, and then everything with the white Gynex. I've never heard of that before. I had a bad head injury years ago, probably like early 2000s. I just moved back to Ontario near Toronto. I was living out west for the last 10 years. So as I came back to help my mom with my dad, he's pretty sick. But
sorry to hear that.
So, yeah, no, thanks. I appreciate it.
But yeah, so like I haven't had like it's like I have hydrocephalus, so I have from the head injury. So I've been dealing with that for like almost 20 years. So, and then whatever else happened, and I never even thought about like I just have one bad thing after another. It's just I thought it was bad luck, but then when you said that about the Dianetics, it kind of like, oh, I wonder if that's what it was off and on. Every once in a while, something bad would happen to me, or I get in an accident, or get hit by a car, and it's just one thing after another. It seems like so. Just very interesting. I started watching the series there, so I'm at video 2, so I'm gonna hopefully finish those up probably tomorrow or maybe tonight. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, you know what? I appreciate that, and you're thinking along the right lines, because I don't even know if I've talked about this yet. I think I have a little bit, but many times people that have, the traumatic injuries, that's a great way to get engrams implanted in you. And when you have these engrams, you tend to be clumsy. You tend to be accident prone. And once you get clear, you won't find yourself having accidents anymore. You won't find yourself being clumsy. You won't find yourself getting sick. You won't find yourself needing reading glasses. So you have hit a very, very real thing. And you are already self-clearing yourself right now just by having these understandings. You are discharging some of those engrams that you picked up, and you're doing it by yourself. And that's where we're going to be different. Is most of Dianetics and Scientology is set up to come in and have an auditor, they call them, work with you. And Ron really tried to set it up where people could do it on their own. But let's face it, you don't make a lot of money when people can do it themselves. So it went towards another paradigm. But we're trying to return it to what Ron originally meant it to be, is help you learn how to self-audit yourself, help you learn how to go along your own life track and discharge all the engrams. And if you have tough cases, then I'll make myself available, and hopefully we'll get some more people trained up to do it. So you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And you are already, I can tell and hear, well on your way to self-auditing and getting rid of a lot of those engrams and aberrations that you were inflicted upon you.
Oh yeah, no, it's been a long journey, especially over the last 10 years. I've learned a lot moving out west and going through some trials and tribulations. So the old me when I was 21 years old in the military, and I didn't really care about anybody. Somebody to me, I'd want to go back at them. But then the last 10 years, it's just been like I've grown up quite a bit, and with everything I've been through. So.
Absolutely. I appreciate your call again. Happy birthday. Do you have anything else you'd like to leave with us?
No, that's it. Thanks a lot, Jeff. Keep up the good work. I'll be listening as much as I can when I'm not working my 60 hours a week at home here. So.
Well, hey, I appreciate you. Keep up the good work, both at work and on yourself.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thank you so much. Another great call. Whoops. I think I heard him say "and," but I'd already depressed the button. That makes me a little depressed, but we'll have to get over it because we're here to serve, right, ladies and gentlemen? We're here to serve. We're here to help. And that's what we are trying to do. I apologize. I haven't been able to look, obviously, into the chat room very much, but we will take a look in here now, see if I've got anything here that jumps out at me. Looks like we got a packed house. It's good to see that. And that phone line is open. Kelly is a big, fluffy, or FLFE advocate. Lola wants to get rid of her mask. I think you can. Hannah's epiphany. I've noticed that a lot of people are still wearing the mask, even though the governor lifted it. That's very, very interesting. And Cynthia and I were in the grocery store here. And in our county, you don't have to wear them. And I was interested to see that at least half the people in the store were wearing the mask. And I thought, boy, that's really sad. And I was actually very, very disappointed by it. I want to play a video. We'll have to shut the phone line down just for a minute. I want to play a video that David Weiss sent me. David Weiss from deep inside the rabbit hole. And he's a great friend. He's a great guy. And I want to play this. And I don't think I'm disclosing anything by showing you this. I'm trying to play it right from its location. And this blows my mind, ladies and gentlemen, what we're about to show you. This video is very crazy. Watch this video.
Next question, the member for Lanark, Frontenac, Kingston.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Premier. In my supplemental question yesterday, I asked this government if the people of Ontario should prepare for internment camps. In September, the federal government posted a call for expressions of interest for contractors to supply, provide, and manage quarantine isolation camps throughout every province and every territory in Canada. These quarantine isolation camps, however, are not limited to people with COVID, but provide a wide latitude for many people to be detained. Surely this government is aware of the intentions to build these isolation camps from coast to coast. And my question to the Premier is, how many of these camps will be built? And how many people does this government expect to detain?
Question. Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is very true that when people leave the country and when they come back in, that the province is suggesting, and the federal government, in cooperation with the federal government, we're suggesting that people isolate themselves. That has been a practice that has been very successful, not only here in the province of Ontario, but across Canada. And we will, of course, be redoubling our efforts to make sure that the people of the province of Ontario remain safe, Mr. Speaker. So if the member is referring to the fact that one of the public health policies is that when you return from a jurisdiction outside of the province of Ontario or from another country, that you isolate yourself for 2 weeks, I would suggest that has been a good policy that's been working. In fact, this House has been doing the same thing since we came back. We are working in cohorts to make sure that the Legislative Assembly can continue to operate. That's why we have 2 separate cohorts, Mr. Speaker. Responsible operation of the official opposition. That is why all members of the Independents have been excluded from that cohort, because we want them to be able to participate in debate. So we'll continue to do everything in our power to make sure that this House continues, but that the people of the province of Ontario and Canada are kept safe.
Supplementary question.
Again, thanks to the Premier. Here's the RFP. And in the RFP, it uses clear language to express that these camps can be used for a broad spectrum of people, not limited to travelers. Indeed, it doesn't even mention international travelers. It's just a broad latitude of people. And I'll send over the copy of the RFP after. So your government must be in negotiations and aware of these plans to potentially detain and isolate citizens and residents of our country, in our province. So, Speaker, to the Premier, where will these camps be built? How many people will be detained? And for what reasons? For what reasons can people be kept in these isolation camps? And I'd like to have the Premier assure the people of it.
Member, take a seat. The next question.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very interesting. I don't know if our Canadian fans out there would like to weigh in the chat room, or if they'd like to call in. I will throw open the line again. It's 813-534-0083 if you'd like to call in. It is late night in the Heartland. We've got another 45 minutes or so to be with you. The phone number is 813-534-0083. Yeah, the video didn't come up, and I wasn't going to waste time with it. But they are taking RFPs, which is a request for proposal. So what they were doing was requesting proposals for bids on building these internment camps. And you can see that even though the Premier dodged the question, the representative there, the minister, I'm not sure what they call him up in Canada, was raising a question of, hey, this is actually an RFP. This is a literal request for a proposal for building of camps, and camps that are not limited to victims of the Dosum Wist. So Tracy Dyer and many people have said that Canada is becoming very, very cozy with China virus. So you begin to ask, internment camps, re-education camps are very, very prevalent within China. What you got to say about that, LeBron? You're willing to let people die and be in cage so you can make some dollars. You're a piece of shit. You ought to quit. Or at least you ought to stand up and act like a man and not a little boule bitch. But anyway, why is Canada, the federal government of Canada, issuing requests for proposals and taking proposals for the building of internment camps in the nation of Canada? I almost said the formerly great nation of Canada. It's not my nation, but that makes me wonder. That makes me worry. The phone line is open, 813-534-0083. The Super Pal chat is always open. That's a little scary. That makes me wonder. That makes me, I don't really get scared, but it's something that catches my eye and gives me some concern. Carlene says that she thinks that Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, was put in by the deep state. I don't know. It's late night in the heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeff, this is Mr. Kilwell, and I just want to say that I love you, man. You bring out good information on being eternal and infinite, intelligent, energy. But I just want to say that, I really thank you for giving me a moderator status. I don't need it.
Well, I really appreciate you for being there.
I really thank you for, whenever I pop on, you mention me, you mention my name, but I don't need moderator status. And it's okay. I just want you to know that I'm in your corner. Okay? So I want you to know that. And I feel that this is an important call. Oh, by the way, I'm not from Africa. I'm from somewhere over the Pangea of some other land, but I'm not from Africa. So I just want to say that, and hey, a heartfelt love for you. Okay, that's it. That's all I want to say, and I'm going to keep supporting you. And yeah, I don't need the mod. I don't need the moderator. If you want to keep me moderator, that's fine. But I really don't. I'm here for you. I'm here for you, Jeff. Okay?
I appreciate that more than words can express. And I am definitely here for you. It's people like you that keep me here. You're a gentleman and a scholar, and there's so few of us left. And you're one of the ones that gives me hope that and just assures me in my heart that we're going to win. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You're my brother. I appreciate you. And I got your back no matter what comes.
Thank you.
Take care, my friend. I appreciate it so much. Folks, I know that I make this look easy because I'm the best in the world at what I do. I know I make this look easy because I am le champion of late night. Thank you, Chris Jericho. I know I make it look easy, but it's not. I wake up every morning. I kiss my beautiful wife. I pet my dogs. I give them a cookie. And then I come in here with some coffee. I sit down and I look at the comments and I look at the emails, and I get called everything but a nice guy. Sometimes I get called a nice guy, but it's rare. And sometimes you sit there and you see YouTube suppressing your numbers, and they are. and you say, sometimes the little voice comes up in the back of your mind and you say, sorry, the sparkling water, the fast, you know, at least I didn't do it out loud. Sometimes you almost want to say, why am I doing this? Well, this is who I am. This is what I do. And then you'll get an email, you'll get a comment, you'll get a call like this, and you forget all of the bullshit because you know that this is what you're here for and this is what we're fighting for. And the assholes and the dickheads and the bitch ass punks, they're loud. They like to shoot their mouth off, but only on a keyboard. You notice we'll never hear from a bitch ass punk, but the people that love us and support us, they don't usually call. So when they do, I really take it to heart. Thank you so much. You don't know what that means to me. It's late night in the heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
My name is Bobby. It's good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you, Bobby. It sounds like you're on the road.
I am on the road. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
All right. Well, here's my question for you. When is it the right time to take action on something, and when do I just leave it to God or the universe or however you're comfortable saying it?
When is the time? Well, you know, Cynthia has a great saying that when the people that just want to be left alone get pissed off, you've gone too far. And, you know, we have been, in my opinion, too decent for too long. We took what we were doing to us. Oh, I know we don't like it, but let's just, you know, we've been too decent. If there's ever been a time for us to stand up and draw a line in the sand and say no more, that time is here. That time is now. I'm not saying we need to take to the streets. I'm not saying we need to go on the offensive, but we damn well better be armed and we damn well better be ready. And all of these SOBs out there need to know that they have pushed us too far, and the next push is going to result in some drastic action. And Mike Tyson, that great American philosopher, said the problem with the world today is that the internet has empowered people to say things without the fear of being punched in the face. Those days are over, and if you think you're going to infringe on our sovereignty one more centimeter, you're wrong. If you know what's good for you, knock this shit off now. I think I'm saying now's the time, my brother.
Well, I don't know if you say that. I mean, it's not, I wasn't even talking about the big picture situation now. I was talking more day in and day out living, just things that come up here and there. But I did love hearing you say that again because it makes me smile every time I hear you say it.
You know what? I'm that way on day to day. You know what? Why be passive in our life? Let's be just as aggressive in our life as we are with these bitches that are trying to steal our lives. Let's be aggressive. Let's be powerful. I mean, most of us haven't done that, and things aren't working the way we want. And if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you get the same results. Why don't we mix it up? Why don't we be a little more aggressive? Why don't we go for it? Why don't we throw caution to the wind? Why don't we try something new? Dare to be great.
So that's it, just action.
Absolutely.
All right. I like it, man. It was great talking to you.
Hey, be safe out there, my friend.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, most of us, you know, who was it? Helen Keller allegedly, supposedly said that most men live lives of quiet desperation. That's your fault. Dare to be audacious and do something grand. It's late night in the heartland, and you're with Jeffrey Daugherty live.
Hey, Jeff, it's the Social Observer again.
Hey, Social Observer.
Here, you know, you playing that Canadian, Ontario, those politicians, shit up there, talking about in internment camps. Do you know about Operation Rex 84? The readiness exercise where they basically basically they're gonna make this shit happen. if Biden gets in power somehow with election fraud, we're all going to be rounded up. And I know we're not going to let them round us up. That's when shit's going to go down. Do you know about that?
I have not heard about that, but I think you're 100% right. That's why this election is so important. And I really do have respect for the people that say it's a sham. You know, presidents are not elected, they're selected, that you shouldn't vote, you're being part of the system. And they are right. Most of the time they're right. They weren't right in 2016 and they're not right in 2020. And I would just ask them to please reconsider, because it really is not only the future of the United States and returning it to a republic, but you hear these people call us from Australia, they call us from Canada, they call us from around the world, and they say, please, we're waiting on you, we're counting on you. So we have to go out to the polls on November 3rd, and we have to vote for our great president. And if in the strange, but let me finish this. In the strange and unlikely event that we don't win, then they will try, and this is more reason that we have to do it. They will be they've been listening. They will be rounding us up, and they're coming for the quote unquote truthers first, and they're coming for the Trump people first. If we don't, you know what Hillary said during the last election? If we don't win, they're going to hang us all.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton.
And they're going to if we don't win.
I would have been in Costa Rica if Hillary would have won in 2016. I'd be calling you from Skype and from Costa Rica, and who knows where I'd be after that.
Do you think that Costa Rica is a good alternative place to live if something made it where you couldn't live in the United States?
Not now in hindsight, but back then I thought it would be a good expat area to go. But
because Cynthia and I,
REX 84 on Wikipedia, it gives you the basic rundown of what's going on.
I'll look it up.
And REX 84. This is their game plan. If they take power, we have to make sure we all get to the polls. We can't let these psychopaths, just enslave us because we like freedom. Come on.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Everyone needs to just not. They need to get off their ass. This is go time.
This is go time, and I appreciate you so much for saying that. And thanks for calling back. And don't be a stranger, okay?
Oh, one more thing on the 1947 thing.
Yes.
Roswell crash landing, UFO landing, was the 1947 thing.
Yep.
That's when the graves started coming. But yeah.
And they look an awful lot like that being that Crowley used to talk about. I can't remember his name right now, but they look a lot like that too.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. We're run by a bunch of low.
Lamb was the name of the being. Lamb, L-A-M.
Yeah, but he actually contacted Lamb in like 1918 or something.
Isn't that something?
Always had him in his life up to that point where he actually released the portal.
That's crazy stuff. That's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, man, thanks for calling. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks, man.
Bye-bye. I just want to mention living the RV life, etc. I don't even know how to respond to this. You're the new Art Bell. I watch you on Fire TV and can't reply, but we watch. Living the RV life. I came that close to living the RV life. And Cynthia and I might be headed that direction again, but those words, I have no words for those words. Art Bell, pioneer, Art Bell, badass, Art Bell, little this, little of that at the end, but to be mentioned and compared to the late, great Art Bell, wow, thank you so much. And that not only makes me feel fantastic, it also makes me feel like I got to keep doing the work and I got to get better. I got to make the show better. I got to make everything I can. I got to work harder to be able to do this. Joel says he was listening to Rex's show yesterday, and he's right. We're not voting for a president. We're voting for a way of life. And Carlene weighs in and says, exactly, Joel. And Jama adds in, yeah, we're fighting for the American way of life. And I agree so much. Thank you, Living the RV Life. It's late night in the heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Well, hey, Jeff, how you doing?
I'm excellent. Sorry, you caught me with a mouth of lemon spring sparkling water in my mouth. I'm here. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had my Bluetooth on. I had to turn that off.
That's all right.
I just want to let you. I want to let you know something that I was watching C-SPAN. It was probably like 10 years ago, and they interviewed this guy that was affiliated with the UN, and he said during an interview that the United Nations already has agreements with the big gang leaders like Crips and Bloods and stuff like that. That whenever this time comes for gun confiscation, these gangs are going to be deputized and made into UN peace officers, and they're going to be the ones taking the guns. That's some scary shit right there. I mean, they're not going to succeed, but that's something to think about.
And I appreciate you sharing that. And, we hear those types of stories a lot. I'm a guy that wants to see documentation of those things happening, but whether it's the Crips and the Bloods or not, we know that. And I had a chilling conversation with my son. My son is 36 years old. He's my oldest child, and he lives in Norfolk, Virginia, and it's a big Navy town. And I asked him, I said, he knows a lot of Navy guys. I said, of the Navy guys, if they were ordered to fire on civilians, how many of them would do so? And he said all of them. Now, when I was in the military, I was in the Air Force for 7 years, none of us would have fired on civilians. So even if he's right and half of them would, that's a really, really sad situation. So whether it's the Crips or the Bloods, if this thing goes the wrong way, and the easiest way for it to go the wrong way is for us not to vote for our great president on November 3rd, it's time. Now's the time, ladies and gentlemen. Get yourself prepared. Get yourself a great handgun. Get yourself a nice tactical shotgun. Get yourself an AR and maybe even a long rifle. Learn how to use it. You'll never, ever be sad that you have it, but it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Thank you for the wake-up call and the encouragement. What else do you have for us?
Hey, just want to let you know that we're gun neighbors. I live on the Missouri side, the Kansas area. So,
all right.
You take care of yourself. I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you very much.
I will. We're probably going to try to do, once this stupid 19 stuff is over, we're probably going to try to have some sort of an event over this way. So I hope that we'd see you there.
That'd be great.
All right. Thank you, my friend, and thanks for calling.
Yeah, bye.
I can't imagine that things have changed that much. I got out of the service in 1987. I can't believe, my son's not going to lie to me, but, well, not about that. But you think about who's going into the military. It's the same soy boy game playing, video game playing, pasty biatches that you see in Antifa, right? Wow. Living the RV life, etc. says, I wish I would have caught you early in the show. I apologize. It was Delta. I think Delta might be her name. Nice to see you, and stay safe out there. And I do hope that you have some self-protection. And again, folks, we're not advocating for people to lock and load. We're not advocating for that. We're not advocating to fight. We're not advocating. But Cynthia told me a story today that Antifa and BLM, the thugs, the bitches, the cowards, are now going out into the suburbs and into the small cities. And they went to a fourplex the other night, and I think it was in Portland. And they were telling these people in the middle of the night, loudspeakers, get out, get out, get out. And 3 of the people fled the building because they were going to burn it down. And the 4th person was like an 84-year-old woman. Oh, the Hurricane's Delta. Yeah. The 84-year-old woman locked in her closet calling 911. They won't come because it's Portland and they want to defund the police. And these thugs, these absolute subhuman beings, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not saying go out into the street and hunt them down, but if we live in a fourplex together, y'all, and they come and surround our fourplex and they say we're going to burn this thing down, I wonder what would happen if we all came out of our homes with our handguns, with our tactical shotguns, with our ARs, and said, who's going to light the first match? That's a threat on our life. Go ahead. Light that match. Rear back and try to throw that Molotov cocktail. It'll never leave your hand. We've had enough. We will not attack. We will not use aggression. But neither will we go quietly. And we're not like you guys. We don't play video games. We practice. We are the well-regulated, that means practiced up militia. Like Brandon says, you're going to burn my shit down? Go ahead. Make my day. We're your Huckleberry. That's just our game. You don't want none of this. Remember what happened to Johnny Ringo? Remember what happened to Johnny Ringo. Because at the end of the day, you talk your shit and you get in your packs and you blah, blah. You know what? At the end of the day, you're no Daisy. You're no Daisy at all. Ladies and gentlemen, late night in the heartland, 25 minutes left. And our final podcast excellence of the week will be back on Monday night, 11:01 p.m. Central Daylight Time till 1:01 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Wendy reminding us how these little Antifa BLM bitches got confronted in New York City, Little Italy. All of a sudden, it wasn't so much fun, was it? When he got pissed off Italian guys and gals saying, forget about it. It's late night in the heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hi. No, it's Wendy.
Wendy.
The light hypnotist, the white hypnotist, the astute hypnotist. Thank you so much for what you did today. The program, I listened to it. I wasn't able to hear it live, but I made a comment.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Podcast. So,
oops, sorry.
You really explained the difference between, or the nomenclature of the words that are used in Dianetics, which were helpful.
Good. I'm glad that it was enlightening for you, and I appreciate you calling. And we keep doing what we do, and we keep helping as many people as we can. And what else, comment or question-wise, do you have for me tonight?
Well, let's see. The book I'm reading now is about Lincoln, and I know that you have an opinion that the history that we know about the Civil War is not correct.
Absolutely.
And it seems that this book is pointing that out too. That really it was Lincoln who invaded peaceful things.
Well, that's exactly right. That's why where I come from, we call it the War of Northern Aggression, or we call it Lincoln's War, because all that was happening was a group of states were exercising their constitutional rights to leave the Union with the northern states. They didn't want to fight. They didn't want to attack. They just wanted to exercise their right as sovereign states to disassociate. I mean, what did the Declaration of Independence say? When in the course of human affairs, it becomes necessary for one government and one nation to disassociate itself from another, that we do have that right. And that's all that happened. And Lincoln attacked a peaceful country that didn't want to do anything more than exercise its constitutional rights. And I would suggest it's God-given liberty. So let me know what you say.
It was over money that they were fighting because of the increase of tariffs.
It was over money, and it was over the fact that the Southern senators and the Southern representatives were very much against the institution of a Federal Reserve Bank. The Southerners were not going to accept the central bank, and because of that and other reasons, we had to go. And people say, "Oh, it was slavery, it was slavery, it was slavery." What people don't know, because they don't study, is that the South was already in the process of getting rid of slavery before the North ever fired a shot.
Yeah, I remember that reading that Richard Henry Lee, in his first day in the Burgesses there, he kind of gave a speech about saying that we shouldn't have slavery, or we should increase the amount of tariff on new slaves coming in to stop it, or to turn the tide against slavery.
And remember this. Less than 3% of Southerners own slaves. Over 22% of Flemish Southerners own slaves. Think about that.
I know even Washington thought it was a bad deal. He had 300 slaves, only 100 of them were working. 100 were too old and 100 were too young. So economically, he didn't think it was such a great deal once they really figured out what was going on, and how they would, once things got sold and the shipping costs and everything, that they weren't really making it. I think that's why he changed some of his crops too.
And when you look at, if you want to find the real answers, look at who started slavery, look at who captained the ships, look at who owned the ships, look at who crewed the ships, look at who ran the slave markets, and they were closed on Sabbath, by the way. I'm trying to give you clues without getting in trouble. Look at the people that did it. It was not a white Southern thing. It was the other white meat. That's all I can really say without getting in trouble.
Yeah, you're funny there. Yeah, well, truth is truth.
Truth is truth. Do you have any more to drop on us tonight?
No, that's it. Thank you for your program.
Thank you for being here, because without you, it ain't much of a program.
Some more people will call, I'm sure.
Thank you so much. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And we've got about 15 minutes left in this podcast. Excellence. And the line is open. And it was a FF that started. I'll tell you about the FF that started. You know, we all know that the Navy, the Union Navy sailed into Charleston Harbor, and those bad, sparkling water, those bad Southerners fired on. What happened was the South had taken over Charleston Harbor, and the South was flying in daily supplies to the Union soldiers in Charleston Harbor that they had taken over. And Lincoln saw what was happening, and Lincoln had his battleships sail into Charleston Harbor with their guns armed and their guns bared and aiming around, looking like they were ready to fight. And Lincoln sent those soldiers on those battleships into Charleston Harbor completely and totally unarmed. They didn't have a shell. They didn't have a bullet. They were unarmed. So he went in there and sent his ships in there looking like they were about to blow the hell out of Charleston. And if you're the Southern soldiers there, and here comes these Navy ships from the Union, all, weapons bared, ready to go, you're like, oh shit, we got to shoot. So what Lincoln did is he went in there and provoked it, knowing that we'd have to shoot. I say we because I'm a Confederate, that we'd have to shoot and defend ourselves. And then that lying bitch sat back and said, oh, the South provoked the Civil War. Now we can fire on them. Folks, that's real history. And however you feel about it, at least now you know the real history of what started the Civil War. And the first battle we won it, and we could have marched into Washington, and we could have taken Lincoln captive, and it would have been over that day, but we were too decent. That's our downfall. We were too decent. We had too much respect for what the United States of America meant to us before we created the Confederate States of America. Would that we did march on Lincoln. Would that we would have taken over the White House. And then things would have been different. But Tracy says Marxists love bloodshed. Patriots don't love bloodshed. They do everything they can to avoid it. But when the time comes, and we've been pushed too far, and the real threat to our person, our property, and our loved ones arises, we may wait until we see the white of the eyes, but we are really, really good shots. We just wanted to be left alone. And now you've got us activated. We're lovers, not fighters. But you don't want to find out how good we are. Let's call an end to this nonsense. Let's all go back to our respective corners. Let's talk. Let's negotiate. Let's let the people speak on the election. And let's move on appropriately from there. That's all I have to say about that. We've got 15 minutes left in Late Night in the Heartland. I'm your host, Jeffrey Daugherty. Living the RV Life says we are being pushed, and we're not. We have been pushed, and we've retreated. We've retreated. Most of our laws say we don't even have to retreat. Stand your ground means you don't have to retreat lawfully. But we've retreated, and we've retreated, and we've retreated, and we won't move one more. We won't move one more. Forget an inch. We won't move a centimeter. We're standing. The line is strong. We're taking our stand. We won't take a knee. We're taking our stand. We will not be pushed any further. Have you seen what's happening in South Africa? It's a horrible, horrible travesty. It really is. And our hearts and our great intention goes out to those people that are being subjected to the horrible stuff. Thank you so much, Living the RV Life. I appreciate it very, very much. Wow. Harry Christie with a fantastic comment. He says, Abrahamic Lincoln. Think about that. His name is Abraham Lincoln. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. This has been a great week of podcast excellence. His name was likely Springsteen. Those are the things you don't know about. Lola's like, study it, Lola. They're right. His name was probably Springsteen. He probably was of Flemish descent. Will this be our last call? I don't know. Let's see. It is Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hello, Jeffrey. This is Holly from the Heartland.
Holly from the Heartland. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm feeling a little, Sean, you forgot to, unblock me. You forgot to uncock block me.
What's your, give me your name one more time.
Well, my name's Holly. It might be under Holly Langiel. That's my full name. Lengyel.
Okay.
But Opposite World, 1965 or some number.
I thought I looked for that and couldn't find it, but I'll look again.
Yeah, it might just be under my name, Holly Lengyel. I believe it is.
Under Holly? Okay. I'll look for that one too.
Holly Lengyel. If you could remember, I know you got a ton of other people that uncock blocked before me, I suppose, but, you know, really beat me down. But yeah, I wanted to just call and remind you about that. And I had to bite my tongue. I have to disagree with you on your Civil War history. I really do.
Holly, you have the right to be wrong. And I support that fully.
I'm not going to say what I like. Yeah, you know, and you also do too. But you got to study some shit though before, you know, there are arguments about anything. I'm talking the mud flood era. It's super important. I guess the real theory and the history of our planet is way older than anything I ever imagined. We never learned anything in school that is wrong, true. At least I haven't. Have you? I'm 54, and everything I've learned so far turned out to be a lie. Honest to God, except maybe for math. But and the wars, I have to say, it's sad. It's really sad, but it's darn true that they've lied and taken pictures and they're all actors. It's horrible. It's a horrible truth. Another one to learn. Oh my God, it's bad.
Holly, I will definitely get you unblocked tomorrow, and by the time we're back on the air Monday, you'll be unblocked. Thanks so much for the call.
Hey, thanks again, Jeff. Take care. Love you, man.
Take care. Love you too. Bye-bye. Tracy makes an interesting statement. Don't like any of the presidents on Rushmore. Jefferson, Washington, Roosevelt. Who else? It's Jefferson, Washington, Roosevelt, Lincoln. What's wrong with Jefferson? What's wrong with Washington? I like them, Tracy. I like them. Yeah, Monday night, Jody, is the next show. We run the show Monday through Friday from 11:01 p.m. Central Daylight Time currently to 1:01. Right after it's not a cold plunge. It's only a cool plunge. The water's still about 67. It's got to be under 57 to be a cold plunge, but it will be very, very soon. I don't like Roosevelt either. But Washington, Lincoln, come on, man. Washington, Lincoln. Oh, well. I understand what you're saying. Maybe Jefferson. Maybe Jefferson. Okay, that's all right, Tracy. Well, you know, and people say, oh, Jeff blocks everybody that doesn't agree with him. Let me tell you something. I consider Tracy Dyer our head moderator. She disagrees with me all the time. We have a lot of disagreements, her and I. It's late night in the heartland. I think you might be our last caller. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
This really you, dude?
This is really me, dude. There's only one of me, and here I am.
Oh my God, man! All right, this is John from Abilene, Texas.
Hey, John, how you doing in Abilene?
All right, man.
Is Abilene really the prettiest town that you've ever seen?
Oh man, it's the sun.
I just know the song, you know.
You said when you first said this, you said Charles calling was on through a report.
Exactly. Are you a troll?
Yeah, man, I'm not a troll, but check it out. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color?
Yeah.
My favorite color is probably red, maybe blue, but I'd say red.
Hey, what is your quest?
What is what?
Your quest.
My quest?
Yeah.
I don't know that I really have a quest. If I have a quest, it'd be a quest for knowledge.
What is the velocity of an unloaded swallow?
I didn't hear that.
What is the velocity of an unloaded swallow?
I'm sorry, but I got tired of that one. Enough of the silly questions. If I was wrong, shit, it's 1 a.m. I got time for a quiz show. And if I was wrong, I'm wrong, but that got on my last nerve just a little bit. So I gave him a bunch of answers and it just sounded like a bunch of silliness. But anyway, I hope this is him calling back. It's late night in the heartland. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty.
Yeah.
Yes.
John again. Man, that's from Monty Python, Orgo, dude.
Okay. Do you have a question or a comment that'll be constructive to the show? I'm sorry, you got to go, bro. You got to go. Don't call back, please. Don't call back tonight. Sober up and call back. And it might be a Monty Python skit, but I'm not having any of it tonight, okay? I'm just not having any of it tonight. Sorry about that, but maybe I'm a little heavy on the hang up button, but I no, just no more. The rules are be polite, and he was. John was polite. But the second rule is be interesting, and that wasn't. Not to me. It might have been interesting the first time Monty Python did it, but it's not interesting at 12:54 a.m. And I'm a gardening gal. I couldn't understand what he was saying anyway, but I appreciate it, John. Call back when you're not doing Monty Python, okay? It's late night in the heartland. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. You're live.
Hey, man, how's it going?
It's going great. What's on your mind here? I think you're our last caller.
Am I, man? That's so cool, man. I just got the end of your show. I'm from Canada, and just started watching your show from like kind of a flat-earth guy. I don't. Yeah, I just like randomly called your number, and yeah, how's it going?
It's going good. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you calling in. Did you have a particular question or comment?
Yeah, not really.
Well, listen, thank you for calling. We appreciate it. Keep the number. And when you have a comment or a question, give a call back. Thank you so much and have a great weekend. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You know what? It's late Friday night. You never know what's going to happen. Let's go ahead and end it right there as far as the calls go. Hannah's like, whoa, yeah, I feel you, Hannah. I feel you. You don't have to have an epiphany to understand that was some malfeasance. Get Dagger says, so much for ending with a bang. Yeah, well, you can't control everything, and you just have to flow with those things that you can control. But, this is the first week of this show. This is our first shot. And for the first week, man, it wasn't just a home run. It was a grand slam home run. Gardening Gal, this is the best show on YouTube, she says. How do you respond to something like that? How do you respond to something like that? These are not stupid people. You're smart people. You're intelligent people. Living the good life says the RV life says it's a great show. And I appreciate it so much. It really is a hell of a show. I think we have maybe stumbled on to the secret sauce. Paradigm says, good show. Brandon says it's the best. And we've got the new phone system coming in. I'm going to try to work on being able to get, more video in, more interaction. We may have the odd guest, but I don't really want this to be a guest show. I want this to be you calling in. And you're the stars of this show, and you guys absolutely killed it this week. Living the RV life. Thank you once again. You guys actually killed this thing. We have the sheriff coming to speak at our clubhouse on the 24th of October, I think it is. Since I said that, there'll be somebody listening because Cynthia got him triggered on Facebook. Let me make sure. Yeah, it's October 24th at 11 a.m. at our clubhouse. I ain't telling you where it is because some of y'all are crazy. But if you're there, get Dagger. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, little Elvis. Happy birthday, get Dagger. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. It's late night in the heartland. Oh, I even did the Elvis moves. I see it a little delayed on the screen. So that was fun. Now that's a way to bring it home and end it up. Angela, thank you. She says we had an amazing video earlier today. I agree. That really was the Great Awakening. That really was the event. And we appreciate you so much. Harry's going to speak to us next week. Wendy says, thank you all. Caroline, nice to see you. Thank you. Speak to you next week. Folks, thank you for making this a great week. And I think that this show is about to be something very, very powerful. And it's because you are the stars of Late Night in the Heartland. I'm the host, Jeffrey Daugherty. You're the stars of the show. This has been Late Night in the Heartland, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heartland. Thank you for making my day. We'll see you again Monday. Look for some podcast excellence throughout the weekend on the Christian Whistleblower channel. Jeffrey Daugherty, Late Night in the Heartland. Thank you for making my day.